Hey guys, welcome back to the Ice Project. Today we are doing trendy.
Trending.
Roll the
New
intro.
show again. You hear me all sweet?
All right, Lukey, you're the host here. Let's go.
I know, what a week we've had. We haven't really got many topics, but I think the sensation has been is the hectic Cheese's rise after the grand final. What a week the blokes had.
Yeah, it's probably one of the only times that I've really started to miss football. Like when I've seen the boys carrying on, and like obviously you got to work so hard to get to that point of a grand final. I never played any finals or anything like that, but just to see that the way and how they celebrated and they sort of led us into their world. Obviously, I've got a group chat with the boys as well, so I've seen a bit more than everyone else, but I thought it was really cool.
How it was like they had really adopted the American style celebrations, eh? And I've always thought that. It's like, why aren't the boys getting the goggles on? Why aren't they doing all that shit? And they all did, and it was sick.
Yeah, and I think Melbourne's always been at the forefront of a lot of things, not so much technically with, also technically with football, but like a lot of those boys are into American sports, and they've got the card gang in there. They've got 4 Point Collectibles and a lot of NRL players pay attention to American sports because it's essentially what we want to be. They want to be guys that are allowed to be themselves, and you see that in America, and you can slowly see it transition down there.
Yeah, it's well, like think about like the training schedules of like you've trained before, like you're home. Like if you're training in the afternoon, you're training in the morning. When's American sport on? Like the NBA is always on midday, so you're probably always watching it. Or I imagine you're in the sheds at training in between sessions. You're in a gym session. The NBA's up on the screen and stuff like that. So clearly, it's going to be a big influence.
And even the Mondays when NFL's on, like a lot of people get up real early just to watch that. They're up 4:30 before preseason. Yeah, Red Zone was all time. So I can see that influence slowly start to come down there. And like the funny thing is like obviously got to get tight with a few of the All Blacks boys, and I was sending photos, and I actually put up a video of Bodine on the piss.
Yeah.
And Aaron messaged me, goes, "Oh, bro, you shouldn't put that up." I was like, "Why?"
Oh, really? The one that you put on your story the other day?
Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, it's like that's just more in-house stuff." So that's sort of the difference between the two sports. Yeah, I ended up deleting it, and I messaged Bodine. I was, "Oh, bro, sorry." And he goes, "Nah, that's sweet." He goes, "We should really start to show our side of that a little bit more."
Which one was it? The cricket last year, and
Geordie, that's his brother.
That's his brother. Yeah, he got kicked out because he sculled his beard. That was like a cool cultural moment as well. It was almost like this is what the All Blacks boys are like.
And it's cool. It's cool to see inside that, and I think they want to be like that. And I've had big conversations with Artie over the course of a year, and they really want to be. Open themselves up and start to brand and stuff like that. And I've got a meeting with a couple of the boys tomorrow to talk about a few business ideas. So I'm pretty excited for that. But in terms of branding, like I'm 31 years old. I went to Brekkie with the boys last week, and like obviously Bowden and all that. Come say hello, Richie Monga. I was like, oh, fuck. I was half a little bit not starstruck, but I was like, oh fuck, these guys are the All Blacks. Like these guys are fucking cool. Especially when you grow up in New Zealand, bro. Fuck, they're the shit.
No, I said my best mate is a Kiwi, and I'm like, oh, but Aaron Smith and TJ probably going to come in this week, and like he's my age. He's like, bro, that's fucking unreal.
Yeah, it's different. It's so different, and because they got such a great brand and it's been protected for a long time, they got the highest success rate of any team in the world.
96%, something ridiculous.
92, 93%. So that's how many 9 games out of 10 over the course of their whole history they're going to win. So, but yeah. I can see that American influence starting to come down here. I touched on this on my podcast last week. So when I roll into first grade, you kind of had to fall into the mold of everyone else. And if you done anything a little bit different, you like all the boys would pay you out, and like you just had to fall into line. It was like high school, and that was the start of social media. So I've seen the transition of it. Someone that's personally benefited off the back of social media. I can see the positives of it as well. So I'm glad it's getting to that other side of it now, where players are allowed to be themselves, and like the Cheese being himself and Munster. And the best thing about being yourself is when you go out, you're not trying to hide anything. Where I remember when I used to play football and then go out and drink, I was always trying to be someone I'm not, because I was scared to obviously like get in trouble, and everyone's like, what are you drinking for? But it's just a part of our society. It's just who we are. It's just what we do, and footy players are no different.
Yeah, I was telling you yesterday I was going to put together like a monologue style thing about the week of cheese, but lucky I didn't, because it just keeps going. The bloke's still firing. So
might be the fortnight of cheese.
Fortnight, I know. It'll be a whole Netflix series. Nah. But like to think about like the Cheese, so to break his week down, straight after the game, interview with Freddie. And he's talking about that he's going to try and sell his ring, trying to pay for all the beers that he's going to drink. Straight after that, he's into the sheds, giving it to James Hooper. That was a bit of a giggle.
I enjoyed that. Really, like it was a bit of a payout, and like that, journos, they're allowed to say whatever they want with no consequence. And it's just good to have, and it was done like tastefully.
Very tastefully.
Yeah.
Like Hooper would have looked in and gone, yeah, he's got me,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But like not disrespecting him. We called him a baldy, but that's part of the joke. Like Hoops would cop that all the time.
Yeah, 100%. And then did you see Josh Reynolds going at Buzz Rothfield last week?
Oh, I did see something.
Yeah, so there's like two ways to sort of go about it, and obviously Buzz has pissed off a lot of people, and Josh is one of them.
Yeah.
So he's going after him a lot, but yeah, Cheese done it right, like nice and tastefully.
And then the next morning, the Dion Walters, the champ cheese, that was born, and that's sort of when it sort of like real escalated across all the socials, because it's such like an iconic, like if you were to throw it back to anything that's happened previously, I was trying to think, it's probably like when Joey and Andrew on Sunrise that morning, and it was that real like better than Legos style moment. It was like, I'm the champ cheese.
Yeah, it's grouse. And like those like in terms of culture, that's really important. You know what I mean? Like people like our age and a little bit younger, we resonate with that stuff more. They're more so probably the traditional guys that love the game. And what's going to happen is going to be this massive clash of old versus new, where a lot of the traditionists and traditional football people, probably the traditional media, they're going to kind of pull against it because they go, no, it wasn't like this. Like we had this growing up. We laid the platform for you guys. And then there's this next generation coming through like us, and like I'm old compared to the people that love our content. They're going to go, nah, we want more of that. And it's going to be this little clash. And I heard Joey and Freddie talk about participation numbers in rugby league going down. This is how you get it back up. Yeah. You do things that are culturally relevant to the younger generation, and they see, oh, I can be like him, but I have to play football. And you'll find that kids will want to work hard towards that because you're selling them the full package.
And like the kid's living the dream. Like Cheese has just won the grand final. He's probably something he's dreamt of doing his whole life. He's had a massive impact for them the whole season. It started in the Maori camp when he scored the winning try then, and he sort of escalated from there. And there's all that. He's always in the papers because of the Cameron Smith and the Harry Grant coming across from the Tigers. What's going to happen there? But it's such like an organic moment of like the bloke's just won the grand final. He's out on the piss with all his mates. He's been tied up in a bubble for the past in a completely different state. Like he's just doing what anyone would do.
All he's doing is making his money go.
Yeah.
He's a personal brand now, and like he's a very good player as well. He's international, just won a comp. Like that's going to get you money, but then like if there's a club out there struggling that needs a hooker, but that also needs a personality and a draw card, all he's doing is just bumping his money going up like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's smart.
He seems like one of those blokes that it would just be one of those like real tireless workers in training that just wouldn't stop. Like, do you know anything on his like work ethic? Like,
I watch there's like a multi TV thing on YouTube at the moment, and it was about 7 years ago, and he's been boxing since he was 5.
Really?
And, yeah, his parents sent him over to Townsville when he was like 13, 14, had to fend on his own and stuff like that.
That's probably now he knew, like when he was on with Uncensored, Curtis Scott, he was like knew Cheese quite well, and I think they were then roomies down in with Scott Drinkwater down in Melbourne again.
Yeah, he can throw him, bro. Cheese can throw him. So I won't say his name, who we called out from the Broncos side, but yeah, one of the forwards in there, he goes, you don't want to mess with this.
Don't want to mess with the Cheese, baby.
And he's like short, nuggety, and powerful, and he's been boxing since he was 5. So
jeez,
I think he's 5-0 in his amateur.
I have to take him down to Bondi Boxing Club, see what he's got, throw him in there with PJ or something.
Flog PJ.
No, like cultural moments. Like obviously, we're talking about the NRL. We've got Tyler Herro off the back of the bubble, and his performances there, his card values going up. Tyson Beck just dropped that real gun card.
We should get Tyson Beck on, eh?
That'd be a cool podcast. I don't think he's New South Wales based, but you could Zoom him or something like that for sure.
100%.
Because he's got some cool stories. He's met Kobe Bryant. He's been in the game for a minute, that guy. And
that's crazy, eh? How old is he?
I think he'd be like mid-30s, maybe. Like
I just picture this young dude for some reason.
Yeah, but like I told you during the week, he's done work with like 2K in the video game. He's like one of the GOAT creators, and it's like all you see is like lists on his Instagram bio of who he's created for him.
Why do you think Tyler Herro is so appealing to everyone?
I think it's the white boy.
Yeah, 100%. It's because he's unassuming, because he's like white, but then he's got like these black tendencies. Like he's into like all the things that they're into. And I remember Jimmy Buckets, they were doing an interview, and Tyler Herro can't swim as well, and is sort of a joke.
You got hood tendencies.
yeah, so he's got those hood tendencies, and helps he's a good player as well. And the way he carries himself, he's just fucking. He reminds me of Guffo, cooler than Guffo.
That's why the Jack Harlow Tyler Herro song fits so well, because Jack Harlow is a young white guy out of Louisiana, Kentucky. Herro played in Kentucky, so just the symmetry there is so well. Herro in the rap scene is like, who's this white guy? Like, there's all these tweets around where like all these black people be listening to his music, and it's like, oh, this guy's white. Like, he's just got that flow and that vibe about him. That's why it just fits when they've come together. They've obviously seen that cultural moment. Harlow's had that TikTok song, What's Poppin' Go. He had the huge remix off the back of that.
Song? What's Poppin'?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So he had like Lil Wayne, DaBaby, and Tory Lanez on the remix of that, and that just took it to another level. And it's like, well, what's he going to back that up with? And then Smart, he's one of the new age people. He's like, I see that white space where I'm going to go, oi, Herro, come on the track. And then they've just, like, it's a gun song as well. He's just got that mad beat behind it. Scott Storch, huge, remember, you know, the producer, so he produced that. So it's like cool cultural moment for them.
A bit of old, bit of new as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So mad unassuming intersections that kind of works with content, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you see, like, obviously the back of Champ Cheese and Munster? They're very, like, got their own personalities. Craig Bellamy, notorious sort of Nazi style coach, but allows them to be themselves. Can you see more of that happening moving forward, or do you reckon people are going to try and like front and build up sort of a fake personality?
Yeah, I tell you,
that's them two boys. That's like if there was no cameras or anything around, that's who they are. And that's why it transfers so well, because it's so organic. But is there the other side?
I tell you who's done it well without winning the comp? Dylan Brown.
Yeah, he does it well,
Yeah, so like all this content coming out, just showing that he's like a real person. He's hanging out with his mates at Halloween. He's uploading that selfie with his gut hanging out sort of thing. That's why when you're talking about the new age and the fans that are going to resonate with that sort of stuff, that's what people like. We always say football is the game of the battler. And these guys are battlers, and they've come through, and they're really successful in what they do, and they're just like that, the anchor that reminds everyone that they're just like us too.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's why they're so relatable. But what was exactly your question?
Do you reckon some people are going to start to front, like, to see how well it works, and then because I wouldn't mind if some people not fronted, but like they build up these sort of characters outside of the game.
I think you could go
relate. Be too hard here, eh? It'd be too hard.
Yes and no. You could also relate it to like the Conor McGregor effect in the UFC, where he come out, he used to wear all these flashy suits, talk the talk, and build that personal brand for himself. And then you'd have people that try and just copy and paste it, and it just doesn't come across as genuine. Yeah. Obviously, the cheese, that's the cheese. Money, that's the Prez. You know what I mean? That's the brands that they've created for themselves. Here's a question for you. If Munster has a 50-50 origin tomorrow night, do you think like the media starts hammering him a little bit?
Media will. I don't think anyone that's 30 and under would care, unless you're a diehard straighty, 180, fucking boring cunt.
Well, I put the post up the other day. Finchy did it from the night before rolling into Origin. Money's had a week off, and like
he's got no excuse. He knows exactly what he's doing. He can back it up, and he's had a week to sleep, so he'll be fine, bro. He'll be fine.
And he's in there. Like, it's not like Mal Meninga, Wayne Bennett. They all gave him permission to stay when he did. Like, they knew that he was going to be out partying and everything like that. You've just won the premiership. You've been locked in a bubble. The biggest thing that I felt when we had Freddie in here that time is how much he understands that.
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to the podcast there, he's talking about like with the boys, he's like, oh, why don't we all go out to the pub? And all the boys are like, oh, nah, there could be cameras and stuff like that. Let's just drink here. And Freddie's like, why the fuck would we do that? Like, that's ridiculous. We got to go to the pub. Like, you can't live in thinking that you're always going to get in trouble for stuff like that. And that's
but Mel and Wayne are sweet. They're old school. They'll set the drinks up. Like they're not trying to like stop the boys from doing anything. They'll set it up and it'll all be done properly. And I've heard about a few of the tours that the boys go on, and obviously Queensland camps as well. Like, they look after the boys. You
tweeted yesterday that it doesn't feel like Origin. Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. Is it the time of the year? Obviously, at the back of the grand final, like, you got to think a lot of the guys that are playing haven't played in like 6-7 weeks. I think Origin in the middle of the year. I used to kind of hate it, but it's a nice little breakup to the. It just feels like the season's over for me. Like, I have to remind myself to go, fuck, there's Origin on tomorrow, and then we're probably doing a footy campaign.
Were you tweeting from that perspective as if it, was it from like a lack of, they haven't marketed it well, or just purely because the season's finished, it doesn't feel like Origin?
I don't know. I don't have a thought on that, but I think New South Wales Blues Instagram is pretty cool. Like, they're doing a really good job. I like some of the content on there as well, but I don't know. Have we just been in our own world making content that we're not looking at anyone else's? Or
I think tomorrow that changes. As soon as game one's on And like then because there's such a quick turnaround between game 1 and game 2, it's only next week as well. So I think it'll be Origin mode from there. But I think it still should be during the year, but have that standalone weekend for it as opposed to the Wednesday. But I don't know, Vlandy's out of everyone's the sort of bloke or that new guy that they've got in as well.
Who's a new guy?
I don't know. I can't remember his name. I've definitely recognised his face from somewhere. Someone in business.
Ask in the comments. Does it feel like? It just doesn't feel like Origin to me. Like usually you hear that guy who's about to debut and like he's killing it in club footy, so he's going to get the start. So there's a lot of these all cool stories around it. So it just doesn't feel like Origin to me.
Anything else trending that's been on your radar?
Nah, nothing. Obviously we're just working hard in the office and head down.
Here we are. Shout out to Isaac, the work experience
got a bit of
over
work
here
experience
behind the lens.
Doing nothing, so
His mates are all out sparkies and pouring concrete, and he's just taking photos. How good!
And we've got day off tomorrow too. It's his birthday tomorrow, so happy
is
birthday! Yeah,
how good!
So we don't work Wednesdays in the office, so you can cruise home.
I'll be in there. Got Finchy.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Thanks guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.